Hey, welcome to the Ring Ads live stream for December 28th. I am William Mears, as always. Of course, I am 7 days a week, 24/7. Oh man, it's a hell of a day. I've just been wired, just end to end here, no breaks, no nothing, which is cool. It's just I feel so bad because it's like, oh man, I got to go over to the other call. I'm glad it's not going to keep happening. This is the only month where it's really going to be like that, at least this time around. Next year, I think we've got some plans that I'm going to be putting in place that's going to help us avoid this kind of runaround stuff. Anyway, I'm back. I'm going to grab the link here and see if we can pick up where we left off with Julian and John, right? With the quick question that wasn't so quick, which I don't mind, but I was just short on time. So again, hate having to do that, but at the same time, had to. Um, okay, let me come to the group here. Let's make sure we're good to go on sound. Yep, cool. Okay, come back to the main group. It was a good call, obviously, if it went 2 hours into mentorship. Um, anyway, I'm back. I'm going to grab the. There we go. And see if we can pick up where we left off. Okay. Now I can paste the comment or the link in the comment section, excuse me. And looks like Facebook's going to allow me to pin it at the top. Very cool. All right. I am here. Link is at the top. Questions in the comments if you need it. Most of it was probably covered, except with the exception of Julian and John, the Jays, prior to us bouncing after an hour. But I am here, and I'll hang out for like I always do, just in case there's nobody on. I'll hang out like I always do for I don't know what 20, 30. Well, 30 minutes is usually what I do, so 30 minutes, and then I'll bounce if there's nobody that needs help or if everybody has it figured out. But I'd love to hear from John Hackwood because he had a question and it sounded really good. Just wish I had more time to answer it at that point. And Julian with the ClickFunnels. Hopefully, we've heard back from ClickFunnels, and if not, maybe we can continue to screw around with whatever's going on because something was not right. Um, Hell, I hope you fixed it, but just in case you didn't, I'm still here. Let's take a look at it. Um, that's all I got for you, folks. That's it. That's all there is. John says he's back again. Always good to see you. Oh, it looks like we have some notifications. Oh, that's from me. Got it. Cool. Okay. Alrighty. So, John, is there a Zoom link, please? Yes, there is. Looks like John, you keep going to the page, which is fine. Just be aware, like whenever I say I'm posting a Zoom link, I usually mean I'm posting it in the group. But because I have special voodoo powers, I'm able to share that link with you, hopefully via the page, and it should be popping up here right now. Actually, if you refresh your page, you should be able to see that. But again, future reference, anytime you want to watch a live stream, it's better to be inside of the free group, which I know you're a member of, in order to access things like that faster, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And that's good. I'm glad you're still here. I can answer that question for you. Um, cool. Thanks. Yeah. No, you're more than welcome. Um, and Julian, I know, is probably just not here yet, um, unless he got it fixed, which that'd be a dream come true. But uh, I'd like to see him back on so we can at least try a couple more things that came to mind while I was doing the mentorship call. And I'm waiting on John to come into the Zoom. There he is. Let me let him in. And his audio is connecting. Hey, John. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Hi, hi, William. Yes, I can. Yes.
Awesome. What's going on? Okay, so let's start back over with the question. And please keep in mind, we have all the time in the world now. Not that we want to take our time, but the question you asked clearly was not a very short question. So let's let's not call it what it ain't. Um, what is your question, and how can I help you?
Well, I was trying to give you as much. Sorry. Yeah, I was trying to give you as much um, preamble so you could give me a quick yes or no, actually, but that's okay.
Why don't we start with the
I've got a
question and
perspective.
then go to the like let me kind of work backwards on it. I think that's going to help us out and move us along pretty quickly, actually. So if you just ask your question straight out.
Okay. Yes. Uh, do I need in ring ads? Do I need two companies or campaigns in ring ads for a prospective client who has two partners in two cities?
For a prospective client that has two partners. Okay, let's
In
start with
two
this
cities.
information.
So
What
one client, but two cities.
okay. So he doesn't have partners in two cities. He just has two locations. It's a multi-location business, is what you're saying.
I'm yes, I'm saying that as well as they have two partners. They got two guys. One is in Oklahoma. One is in Dallas. So
And
I'm
they
just
all
wondering,
run the
can
same
they
business
still
and
operate out of the same
they
wallet?
all run the same business and they all run different locations.
Yeah,
Like they all
yeah,
so it'd be like you, me, and Julian went into business together, equal thirds or something. But I live where I live in Vegas, you live where you live, and Julian lives in New York.
yeah,
And we all have our own business, well, our own location rather, in that same business that we all jointly own, just different
yes,
locations.
yes, yes.
Okay. What you would want to do in that case is one company, because it's one company, and you can do three different campaigns all assigned to that same company, one for each location.
One company and three different campaigns in ring ads.
Assigned to that
Okay,
same
cool.
company, correct. You have to
Yeah,
assign the
got it.
company, right? So it's one of the first things in editing a campaign or creating a campaign is to assign the company that's going to be
Yeah,
associated with that campaign, right? You can do that with
yeah.
multiple campaigns though, and it'll all pull from the same wallet, right?
Wallet.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
So in other
So I was
words,
trying to
the
avoid
one,
taking.
right? Go for it.
Sorry to interrupt because
That's
there's a
okay.
time lag between you and me.
That's okay. That's
um,
okay. I'm here all
uh,
day.
yeah, I was trying to avoid the, having to take two lots of um, deposits for 10 calls.
Yes, I
Even
totally
though I'm
get
not
that.
quite at that stage yet. But okay,
Well,
cool,
if you're
excellent.
close enough to be considering it, then you're in a good place, especially considering how important this week is, right? I would say. So good on you for
Yeah, I'm
that.
trying to I'm trying to
Yeah.
get one more over the line.
By the way,
No,
see how
still a
easy, do you
sorry.
see how easy that was for you to just ask the question outright and then me get like a couple of pieces of information and then you're golden, right? And it's mostly,
Yeah,
you know why that is? It's not because I'm a
tell me.
genius, right? It's not that. There are smarter people, many smarter people in the world than me. What do you think is the reason, if you had to take a guess, as to how I'm able to do
What?
that?
Well, because it's your system.
That's part of it. Sure, that definitely plays its part. But I'd say more than anything, there's probably, I'm sure that somebody could come up with something that I haven't run across, but there's very, very little that people can come up with that I haven't already run into and dealt with and solved, right? Very, very
Yeah,
little. And that means most of the time, if you're able to just ask a direct question, I'll be able to give you a direct answer. And there may be some variables tied to it based on, for example, I needed to get clear. The only questions I really had was getting clear on the partnership side, because really what you're asking is the same question as one person, a sole proprietor that has three locations. It's the same setup. Just because he has
yeah,
partners makes no difference whatsoever. You can run it all still through one company, run three campaigns assigned to one company, no problem, right? Same answer. But I wanted to clarify and get very, very clear on why you felt the need to bring up partners, and if that was going to have some, like it felt like you thought that that was going to play some kind of part in the answer. And so I just needed to get clear on that so that I could show you that it doesn't really. It's more about the entity, the company that they all are partners in. And that one company gets one company listing inside of Ring Ads, and that one company can be used for 20 locations, 50 locations, three. Doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
all at the campaign level. So
Cool.
I'm able to do that because, again, I've been through and worked through a lot of stuff like that, so much that I'm almost able to pop off with answers. Now, that's not to say that I don't want to hear the story, by the way. I'm just trying to spare you from having to feel like you're sitting on my couch and I'm a fucking therapist like an agency therapist or something, because that's not what I want you to feel like, and I don't want you to feel that kind of dependency. Not that people that see therapists have dependency issues. Some do, I'm sure, but I just don't want you to feel that way about your business, about your agency. I want you to be able to build the agency from a place of strength, which is, hey, I've got a direct question. This guy over here knows his shit. He's got a direct answer. And if he needs to know the information, he's smart enough, at least, maybe not genius, but he's smart enough to know what questions to ask and how detailed to get on the story to save not only me time, but also point me in the right direction very, very quickly so that I can get my ass moving, because I guarantee you at some point,
Yeah.
maybe not initially, but at some point, when you've got 10 clients all waiting, and I say waiting, you're going to feel like they're waiting on the edge of their seat, right? To hear back from you on something, and you're reaching out to me to get the answer. You're not going to want to have time to spend on a story, even if you're a good storyteller, I promise, because your mind is going to be on taking care of those clients and making sure that they're good to go. So I just want to point that out. Like, it's not that I don't care. And we just ran out of time, by the way, at the end. So I apologize about that. You said quick question. you
Oh, no
tricked
problem.
me.
No problem.
You tricked me that first time. I was like, hey, man, this is
Well,
definitely
you
not
know
a
what
quick
it
question.
was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know what it was? I knew because I was trying to line up the different the things you had to do on the ads platform
I got you.
and the things you had to do in Ring Ads, and I was just rehearsing my notes, if you like, with you to show you my thought process. But no, fine. I will
Well, I trust you
adapt
on that,
for the future
right?
for sure.
Ultimately, it's your business, right? I'm gonna trust you to the extent of you following the training, right? Until you tell me that you're not following it, I'm gonna trust that you are, right? Um, I'm an innocent. I live in the country where you're innocent till proven guilty, right? So, and that's a big thing for us over here. So, I'm very much, and I'm not saying you guys aren't
Well,
over there.
that came from
Exactly.
England.
Right. So
That
again,
came from the
not
Magna Carta in England.
right. Except here's the thing, like you guys don't say that like we do over here. That's the difference, is what I mean. Like we people are in handcuffs, and that's what they're yelling as they're being pushed into the cop car. You know what I'm saying? Over there, not so much. Although yes, it did originate, like I said, over there. Sure. But the mindset of that is a little bit different. Whereas, like, I'll give you a perfect example, and tell me, I'm telling the truth. Over there, you're going to have a lot more judgment, not even from a legal standpoint, right, on crime or anything. I'm talking walking down the street, depending on what you're wearing in your country, there's going to be a lot of judgment, one way or the other. Is that true or false?
Judgment in what sense? Sorry.
Judgment in any sense. If you see a guy walking down the street and he's covered head to toe in tattoos, what's your first thought?
My first thought,
Yeah, you're overthinking it already. I can feel the
I
gears burning.
wouldn't have much. I really wouldn't have much thought. I mean, he's an individual.
Okay, well, there's actually
Live
been
and
a
let live, I
study.
say.
There's been a study done with a guy that's actually a Brit that obviously lives over there, who is covered head to toe in tattoos. This is why I'm bringing it up. and couldn't understand why people were afraid of him and didn't want to talk to him until he went through this experiment where they covered him up with skin tone body makeup, his entire body, including his face, to where he looked normal. And I say normal loosely here because I actually am judgment free on tattoos. I have tattoos,
Mm.
just not head to toe. So this guy went and he was trying to ask people for to break change for like a 100 pound note or a 20 pound note or something, right? And I remember it very clearly because he was
Yeah.
ask people and they would walk away from him like they were about to get robbed and shit when he had the tattoos on. But when he had the makeup on, people were, and this is a big bouncer dude. Like he looked, he looked menacing even without the tattoos. Like it's not somebody you want to piss off, that kind of a look. So the tattoos alone. And my point is, and that's in your country, by the way, I might add. Over
Yeah.
here, I guarantee you, we're far less judgmental initially. Now, after someone speaks, that's when we go, that's where he's at, right? Got it, you know. But when we're just when we're viewing somebody, it's a little bit different over here because we're expected to see different things all the time. Whereas over there, it's much more of a shock value, even something as basic as a lot of tattoos or what would be considered excessive tattoos by most. There's just walking down the street. There's judgment. Matter of fact, there is judgment over here too, but again, it's not as when I wear a suit and I travel, and I'm traveling in the United States and I wear a suit, I always travel in a suit. Even if I don't necessarily like wearing a suit all the time, I always travel in a suit because I get treated better everywhere I go, but not
Ah,
as much in other countries when I'm wearing a suit. I get treated like royalty when I'm in a suit in another country traveling, versus in the United States where I get treated like, he might be somebody important. Like, because he is wearing a suit. That's kind of the mentality
yeah.
over here. Less judgment, but still judgment, if that makes sense. Versus overseas, practically anywhere
Yeah.
where I'm wearing a suit, it's like, oh yes, sir, right away, sir, because I could end up messing up their life is how they treat me, and it's crazy. And I appreciate it, of course, hence wearing the suit. Um, but I also just like the feel of a suit in most cases, especially on travel, because you've got the jacket. Again, you get treated differently and better in most cases. Um, I can take the jacket off if I'm too warm. I can put the jacket on if I'm too cold, and I always look nice. I don't know. I got to think about looking nice from time to time. You wouldn't know it because I'm unshaven right now, but I always this is like my uniform. I wear a button-up shirt and jeans. That's usually and nice shoes. That's what I wear as my uniform, my daily. But to travel, I wear a suit, and for those reasons of that judgment that I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure why I was on the point of judgment more than um, uh, we were talking about your campaigns and setup. I'm trying to figure out what the link was there. I guess.
Oh,
Uh,
golly.
yeah.
What about overseas and walking down the street and such like? Um, judging, I don't know. To be honest, I'm lost too.
That's okay. I'm
But
pretty
I
sure the
appreciate the
link.
answer you gave me earlier for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the link was something along the lines of when it comes to um, gosh, what was it? When it comes to it's judgment based off the answers you gave me. I try not to bring judgment into it. I think is what I was getting at. Um, Even though we all judge, I do my best to remain
Yeah.
as judgment free as possible so that you get the answers you need and training you need. Um, and get moving as fast as possible. Um, that's why I end up feeling bad. I think is where I was headed with having to cut loose on time frames with calls. But I said I was coming back, and I did. So I guess that makes up for it a little bit. But I feel bad because I'm telling you guys I'm gonna run over. I'm
Yeah.
gonna run over. I
Yeah.
can't do that, and and I'll be back. Right, that whole thing. So I think that makes sense. But uh, the judgment
No,
stuff
it's
was
fine, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry.
yeah. Go ahead. Oh, yeah, there's a delay. I get it.
Yeah, I'm in Beirut right now, so
Got it.
it's like midnight here, so we're
Oh, well, I
like a
definitely
few
don't want to keep
thousand
you then.
miles.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to just wanted to no, it's okay. I wanted to have a quick follow up question, if I may. I'm not sure if
Sure.
anyone else is waiting, but in that situation with the multi location client,
Yes.
would you be would it be more appropriate to ask for a deposit of 20 calls because you're dealing with two big cities, right? I mean, Oklahoma is medium size, I think, but Dallas Fort Worth is huge. Would it be appropriate to ask for 20 call deposit rather than just the 10 call
Depends on the pricing of the call and the vertical you're
deposit
in. Without you
in
having to,
that case?
yeah, without you having to share all of that, what I would say is um, the deposit size, a dollar amount needs to be between 3 and 5 or 3 and 600 bucks, nothing more than that. So whatever that works out to, if 10 calls fits into that, then use 10. If 20 fits into
Yeah.
that, use 20,
Okay.
um, and go that way with it. Okay.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And thank you very much. And the only other thing I wanted to say is that I've gone through the training time and time and time again, and there's some real gems in there. Like I know you've moved on from this, but you suggested a lem list, and I've kind of got into that, and I've also got the email kind of what's the word? It's kind of it's endorsed by Google, so it gets through more email servers without going to the junk mail so often.
G
And I
Suite.
find like the hit rate, yeah, G Suite, yeah,
Yeah. It's not
yeah,
just endorsed by Google,
um,
but it is Google. It's just the business side of
uh,
Google.
yeah. It seems to be read differently by email servers. And the other thing is that once you get into Lemlist, they've got a whole suite of solutions. You know, the warming up the email, and it really does make a big difference. From because I've been in the Causery training as well, it makes a big difference. That personally, that development for me, it's like night and day.
Well,
So
good,
I just
good.
wanted to say that there's some real gems in that, and even if it's just even on the surface, it's just two PDFs. You know, underneath it,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
there are riches. So
There's a lot.
I
Yeah.
value it tremendously.
Well, I'm going to be updating those PDFs too to add even more. So I'm glad you said that. You're not the first person to say that either. There's been a lot of people that really value those PDFs because of how specific they are. There's a couple things that need to be updated, and then I want to add a bunch to it, like I said. So I'll be doing that for 2021 for sure. And uh, so keep an eye out for that, and I'll make sure to make an announcement about it when they're updated. But I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot that went into those guides that seem to be not glossed over, but could very easily be missed in terms of detail and why things are chosen. Um, but if you follow it, you're going to end up with a result and go, man, now I see why that was so easy because he said this service, he said to turn left here instead of turn right, which would have led here. Um, it's very easy to do that in hindsight, but only after you've done the work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, always happy to help. Um, sorry, I'm laughing. I see a comment from Adrian says, "I am back in the Terminator voice tonality." That's funny. Um, John says, and I know John's over in the UK, says you're exactly right. In the UK, we tend to be too quick to judge and too anxious to pull down the successful, yet quick to admire people on the way up. Go figure. Um, yeah, it's interesting, right? And so there's nuances like that are different. The whole innocent until proven guilty, that's like a very much a thing we say, and I say not everybody says it, but the I've never heard a Brit say that. I guess that's my point. Yes, you guys have that over there, but over here you could turn on an episode of Cops, which is a TV show about cops busting people for stupid shit, drugs and alcohol and domestic abuse, all kinds of crazy stuff. And a TV crew basically follows around a cop crew and or a cop unit and captures whatever they happen upon that night on patrol, right? And it's called Cops, and it's been around for years and years. And you'll hear all the stupid one-liners, innocent till proven guilty. Hell, even at the beginning of those things, it's like these people are shown are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, that kind of thing. And it's a thing that's said over here, very common
Yeah.
phrase, turn of phrase. Whereas over there, while yes, you guys do practice that legally, the innocent until proven guilty is not quite in effect everywhere else outside of the legal world we're talking. So like somebody full of tattoos, head to toe walking down the street is definitely being judged and looked at. Whereas over here, especially in Vegas or like big metro areas, New York City, not much shocks them, right? Uh, there's all kinds of crazy shit over there every day. Vegas, same thing. It's like there's all kinds of crazy shit, especially down on Fremont Street. There's dime a dozen. There are a dime a dozen in terms of like people completely dressed up in character um, that would just freak most people out, right? But if you live here, it's like, oh yeah, it's the spider guy. Whereas everybody else that's visiting as a tourist is like, what the is that, right? They're looking at that going, that, is that real? And you're like, yeah, it's the spider guy. You probably even know him by his first name and like have talked to him or something. That's a much different
Yeah.
dynamic, right? We're much more jaded to a lot of the, whereas you guys speak Queen's English. You guys have nuances in your language that Americans just miss, right? It just goes right over our head. Like when you guys say sorry, it doesn't necessarily mean sorry the way we mean it, right? So it's this, right? And it's the same language, but
Yeah.
there's so many nuances, right? Um, that's one of the reasons why I always liked watching, as boring as some people might find it, British television. Like there was that old show with Judi Dench. What was the name of that show? She was known for before she did all the Bond films. Um, she was in that drama. What was the name of that? I'm trying to remember. It's like some kind of neighbors. Um, she had like an apartment or a flat rather. Um, anyway, whatever that was, I used to watch that and a couple
Judy
others.
Dench.
Yeah, Judi Dench, and it was in her younger days, like I said, not like super young days, but before the whole mid '90s Bond thing. So I think this is like probably late '80s or maybe mid '80s. I was barely born, but I watched reruns of it
Uh,
because I don't know, there's something about British humor and also um, just the nuances and differences. Hell, even watching Mr. Bean without any language whatsoever, you can see culture differences, right? And I always enjoyed that kind of stuff because it's different, right? And I don't know. I paid attention to that kind of stuff, but I think where I was going was innocent until proven guilty as a mindset. Um, and what I had said to you originally was, I believe you're following the training until you prove otherwise. That's where that came from, by the way, that whole stem of conversation. Um, because it's your
yes.
business, it's your
Yes.
it's your
Yes.
agency, right? It's your agency. I want you to take ownership of it. I can't do it all for you. And so that's why I allow you the room to operate as a business owner because ultimately you're going to need that strength. You're going to have to pull from that yourself. Um, I can help you and encourage you and attaboy you and give you all the right directions and uh, even help you out here and there where I can, absolutely. Uh, but ultimately, it's your effort that's going to put you there. And the whole following the training is just part of a small part of the effort that needs to be made, but a very important part of the effort that needs to be made. And I can't do that for you. And there's only so many times that I can say, and I'm kind of spun out on saying it all the time, which is follow the training. There's only so many times I can say that without burning myself out and burning out everybody else that hears that. They're like, yeah, yeah, follow the training, and they're not understanding what that really means. Whereas you have, and I think it's been very clear based on the question that you asked earlier, that you have followed the training and you have reviewed it many times, as you said. That was clear to me without you even having to tell me, 100%. And again, that's why, again, I pick up on things like that right away, where somebody's at based on the question they ask. So asking a direct question, again, future reference, is it revealing, is as revealing as it would be as if you were to tell me what's actually on your mind, because I can hear in your tone, I can hear what you're asking, I can hear the words you choose to use to describe it, and I can tell that based on the questions you asked, you're not only familiar enough with the platform, Ring Ads, right? You're also understanding possible solutions. You're just trying to figure out the best way to make it work. And so that's where your question came from. You're not super frustrated. You don't need any kind of special attention or love. Not that you don't need any love. I'm just saying you don't need any kind of mindset or state of mind change or state change or anything like that. You're good to go. You just got to have the answer to this question. No big deal. And I'm able to answer accordingly, knowing that you're going to be able to take that and just run with it, and feel good about the fact that you almost had that thing figured out, right? So that's good. Yeah, I'm happy about that for sure. So
Yeah.
that should give you some
Yeah.
perspective on how I answer questions. Why I say, hey, give me a direct question, give me a direct, I'll give you a direct answer. And if I ask a question, then I want a direct answer. Again, it keeps things simple. It keeps things to where, yes, if there's additional details that need to be disclosed, then I'll ask, right? Um, but in most cases, almost all, very little is needed, if any, in order to get you moving, right? Now, that said, I'm always up for a good story, but only when we have time. And earlier,
Yeah.
when we had the hour, I didn't have the time, unfortunately. But I'm back and I have the time, so um, that's why I'm spending the extra time explaining all that. We do have Julian on, and I guess he
I
wants to share a
appreciate it.
screen
Thank you.
again
Thank you,
and
William.
update us. You're welcome, John. I'm always happy to help, and it was a good question. So thanks for asking that. Appreciate you. And I'll let you get back to it unless you have something else. Are you good? You got it. You need help with anything else, or?
Yeah, I'm good. No, no. I will come back to you though probably after I got some campaign data on my first or my new client. So I just want to make sure I've got the optimization on the right track. I've possibly on pricing because I lost a couple of clients in early this year, and I don't want to lose any more. So just to make sure I've maybe structured the campaigns right.
Yeah.
But I want to get some campaign data so that I've got something to show you, and you can. Otherwise, where you I wouldn't say you'd be guessing, but you wouldn't have like the numbers to help me, if you see what I mean. So
I got you.
but no,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm motivated. I took some time onboarding this client and also setting up his campaigns based on what I've learned so far in 2020. But I just want to make sure I'm on the right track. Saying 3 or 4 weeks time, I'll bug you again if you don't mind.
No, you're not bugging me at all, and I don't mind at all. So please do, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, my man. Well, I expect to hear from you sooner than that because
All right, so I'll love you and
this
leave you
week.
because it's about
Yeah,
1:30.
yeah, exactly. And just to leave you with this week is golden for client acquisition. I would take advantage of that very much so. Go after your first 5 clients, your first 10 clients this week, and create such a problem that we have to jump on a
Okay.
call and take care of it. Okay, that's what I want ultimately. Not next year, but
Okay.
this year.
Cool.
We still got 4 days left in this year. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get on them list.
All right. Sounds
Cheers,
good.
William.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye for now.
Julian.
Bye. 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 Thank you. Bye.
Julian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey. All right. We're back. So I'll tell you what I told John earlier. Sorry about that. We had the hour limit. I told you we were running up on it, but I'm back. No time limit this time until we figure out what we got to figure, unless you got it figured. So
What I
where are
what
we
I
at?
I'd like you to check it out if you may, if you
Sure.
could. I
You're
registered a different domain. I added it. I started from the beginning all over again because I couldn't figure out what's going wrong.
you're not
So
close enough to the mic, Julian. Again, you're having some issues. Uh, your
uh,
audio is not being picked up well enough.
okay, the mic is right by my mouth. That is that
It's like
you're not hearing me?
it's like some of your words are being cut off. It's weird. You're not breaking up, but it's like I don't know. I can't just. It's hard to describe.
Okay. Uh,
That's better.
all right. Well, I don't know
That's
what's
better.
different.
I don't know
Okay.
either, but
So
that's better.
so what I did was I registered a different domain and I
Okay.
started from scratch. And it appears as if it's working, although I don't know for certain.
Okay.
The reason being is that I'm looking at it from within and from outside, and when I do click um, on the deposit page, I am
Yeah.
seeing now the 10 calls and the 20 calls, but the page formatting is totally screwed up, but at least it's there. It's the portal. Um,
Okay. What's
and
the domain again?
I'm now using a different domain. I'm now using towingcallsdirect.com.
Connection's not private.
Yeah, that needs to be sorted out with sorting out
SSL. Right.
SSL. So forth. So I'll
Excuse
get
me. It
past
says
that.
403 forbidden. So it looks like you're going to need that. I can't see the website 403 forbidden for me when I tried to pull it up. So you're going to need SSL enabled
Okay.
for that domain.
Yes. Sure.
Um, in the meantime, we can. That's probably why it's not working as well, and formatting doesn't make sense right now. I would say, but if you want to share your screen on that, show me what you got. Um, let's take a look at it.
Okay. Okay. So share screen.
Like I said, we've got the time. I had that hour limit because I had to jump on the mentorship call, right? And it's crazy because I ran right up to the limit on that one and had to jump over here. So
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
but I'm back.
So all right. Do you see the screen?
I do.
All right. So where would you like me to just direct me through the steps?
Well, let me see the products again. Let me see what's going on there, and just make sure
Okay.
that they're all. No, products, the products tab. There you go. Let me just see that. So they're still there. Cool. What Stripe account showed up? Can you click on edit for one of them? Was it the new Stripe account or was it the old one?
It's the original. It's the old one,
Oh,
the market IQ.
no, that's the one. That's the new one. That's the one you added.
Right, but for my in
So how
my
did you? Right.
no,
No, you.
this Stripe account has been established for several years.
Right. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is from where we left off in the call, we couldn't even get your ClickFunnels account to show this. So what did you do to have that show?
Nothing.
Did you log
Nothing
out
at
of
all.
anything? Did you clear cookies, cache, anything?
Nothing at all. I just started with a new fresh domain.
So all you did was change the domain in the settings,
That's right. Well, no, yes, in the settings. All I did was add a different domain,
and it
and
changed the Stripe account.
I don't know. This was originally set up. This was one
Now,
of its.
see where it says that IQ thing or whatever, the name
Yes,
of the
yes,
account? That
yes.
was the towing calls one for these products. I have it on recording. I know what I
Right,
saw. Okay,
right.
so how
We
did it
started.
change?
We started with that, but then we
No,
had me switch it in Stripe to Marketer IQ,
right. And then when we
and then
came back to
then
the product, listen, Julian,
and
when we
I
came back
switched
to
it.
the
Yes.
product, when we came back to the product, it was not showing as an option.
I believe it was. I believe it
It was
switched.
not. It's on the recording.
Okay.
100%. Like
Well,
that's why I was like, well, I'm out of time. I don't know what to tell you. Check with ClickFunnels because they're not even showing the new Stripe account. I say new, I know it's an established account. When I say new, the one we just added, which is happens to be this one that we're looking at now, but back on the other recording, it was not showing. So what? That's why I'm saying, what did you do
Nothing.
To,
I just
okay.
created a new account. I just created a new domain and went to Namecheap and did the CNAME and the
But
URL
nothing,
redirect.
nothing inside of ClickFunnels.
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. Can
Okay.
you go to save and next and let me see what's going on there? Just want to see what's showing up, because if that's different, maybe something else is different here. Scroll down. Everything looks good. Okay. And then head back
Although what's
to,
strange is, oh, what I'm seeing here is the one product name, whereas in the checkout page I'm seeing both of them. Strange.
what do you mean you're seeing both of them?
When I go to,
Show me the checkout page.
so go here to deposits, and if I click on open, and if I click on preview,
There you go, preview the page.
I'm seeing 200 and 400. But
Man,
there's
what's
a
going on
need,
with the formatting? You're not kidding. That formatting is,
really weird. But
I think that's because the reason it's showing it that way is because of the formatting. It's just going to show two options in the drop down. It's just the formatting's not right. I don't know why that's looking like that.
I
The
don't
only
know
thing
why there's a drop down.
the
I don't
only
know why
thing
there's a drop down menu if there is a radio
again,
button.
I think that because of the lack of formatting or whatever's going on with the formatting, what that's trying to show you is that those two products that happen to be radio buttons are actually going to be inside of the drop down, which is what would normally show. And I think the
Okay.
reason you're having formatting issues is because you do not have the domains SSL secured, and it's not attached to, or the domain is not attached to the funnel, right? One of the two or both.
Should we check that?
Sure.
Okay. So
If you go to
funnel
settings, upper right.
settings upper
Yep.
right.
URL is towingcallsdirect.com. Cool. No issues there. Stripe account. Very good.
So
That's
I
why the
could
Stripe account wasn't
I could go
showing.
for both. I could go for
That's why the Stripe account wasn't showing. I was having a brain fart because you have to select it here. I forgot about that.
okay.
So if you were to select the other one, it would show. But let's not do that for now. Let's test with that one, right? The other
So
thing you could do is go ahead and save an update just to make sure. So the domain is set, but you don't have it secured SSL, right?
right, I don't know how to do it. There is a simple step to do it within ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
I
If you
did it
go,
in Namecheap, but I didn't do it here.
yeah, if you go in the upper right hand corner, select account settings. No, upper right hand corner, all the way, all
Okay.
the way.
This one here.
Yes, account settings. And then on the left hand side, you'll see domains. And then from there, we're going to add a new domain. No, wait, towing calls direct. Excuse me. We're going to click on the, does that say unverified? Yeah. Click on the three dots on the far right. Three dots on the far right. There you go. Edit. First thing you want to do is hit verify. Okay, so it's been verified. Now hit the three dots again. Edit. Scroll down to SSL, expand. On the right hand side, expand. Yep. And then we'll need to verify your domain. Well, you've already done that. Okay, maybe you need to. Oh, it says securing. Yeah, it's securing already. Go back into edit on that again. Now that you've exited out, you can go back in. It should have some kind of a check to see if it's been updated. Click on expand for SSL. Yeah, check now. And it takes usually 5 to 10 minutes, but it could be already done. Who knows? It'll tell you. Oh, look at there. Done. Okay, so now what was the domain name? And I'll go there again.
Towingcallsdirect.com.
Towing calls direct. Got it. All right, let's see what we got. Well, that took me to ClickFunnels. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what it took me to. When I was trying to go there.
It's just maybe it just hasn't redirected yet.
It's strange because when I typed in www.towingcallsdirect, it took
That's what
me.
I just now did. www. It still took me to the dashboard for me anyway. Okay, let's go to an incognito window. Of course, I misspelled towing because I'm typing too fast. Takes me to clickfunnels.com. It just hasn't redirected yet. You might have your redirection stuff not set properly. It's possible. But I would think maybe it's just because the forwarding hasn't taken effect yet inside of ClickFunnels.
I did that at about noon.
You did that. You did that when?
At about noon today, with the help of somebody at ClickFunnels. No,
Okay.
at a Namecheap.
I got you. Well, no matter how I type the domain in, www or not, it's not going to where it needs to go. It's not redirecting where it needs to redirect to. Head back to the funnel. And do you see where it says publishing? Actually, excuse me. Do you see the settings wheel on the little page there where next to it? No. See where it says edit page, the yellow button? Over to the right of that. There you go. So this is page settings, and you'll see the path. Clear that out and type in home or main, something like that, and then hit update page. See if that has any bearing, and then see the settings wheel above that next to the URL. Not that one. The settings wheel above, right there. Excuse me. That one. Click that.
Yes.
No, the settings wheel. There you go. And see where it says path? Change it there as well. Home. Hit update funnel step. Okay. It's gonna revert back. Let's see if can you go to back to overview for this page, and then click on the little go to link. Not
this one here.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that you had it. Yeah. Let's see what shows up. Okay, and then click on the button for me. Take a test drive. Yep.
Now it's there.
Word.
Yeah, that's what it used to be.
There you go.
Okay. So
now, what I would do, Julian, by the way, if I were you, right, is you definitely want to go back and switch it to your other Stripe account, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, I do.
So here's what you want to do. And if I were you, this is what I would do. I would test one thing at a time. Okay. So the first thing I would test is switching out the Stripe account, right? And you can do that in the main account settings. Come in, switch out towing, the towing thing. Make sure that the stuff shows up properly, like it does now. For some reason, the forwarding just hasn't happened yet. It could be because there's a mistake in your domain stuff, but I don't think that they would be able to verify stuff on ClickFunnels end if that was the case. So there's probably just some kind of a server lag that they're dealing with that they're not telling you about, which is possible. So the first thing I'd do is test a new Stripe account, because that you don't have to wait on them for. Does that make sense? Like, you don't have to wait on them. The second thing I would test after that's successful is I would come over to what was I going to say? Stripe. Change the account.
Would you mind? Let's do that together. The reason being is that the last time we looked at my Stripe account, there were no products in that account. Do you remember that? And that's why we went over to a different account. Because
that's fine. If you want to switch the account, go ahead. Hit settings. No, Go back to
Close this.
ClickFunnels. Go back to ClickFunnels. Hit settings, upper right, the one that you always want to hit. That one.
This one here. Okay.
Yeah. And then scroll down. Select the Stripe account. Scroll all the way down. Hit save. Now
Right.
go back to the deposit page. Then go to products. Make sure it's selected in one of the products. Like go to edit. Make sure it's the right account. Towing. Perfect. Save and close. And then go back to just give it a
I'll
second. Wow. See, ClickFunnels isn't supposed to operate that way. Like it's supposed to just save and close. I really think you're having some browser issues or something, man. Half the time. Seriously.
This is now I'm using this now.
That's weird. Shouldn't be doing that.
I did everything on this domain in Chrome.
I don't think the domain has anything to do with it. Right? Try hitting save and close again, see if it'll actually close this time.
I'll just have
Okay.
to save it next and see what happens. Nothing.
Hit cancel then. Yes. We didn't change anything, so not a big deal. It's like this. See how those buttons weren't working? Either that's a ClickFunnels thing, or that's a your computer / browser / whatever communicating with their website. One of those two. It's the only two possibilities. Okay, that's it. But in terms of it functioning right, so far so good. Now we're on the deposit page. You can go direct to that with that little link up there, the little away
this
link.
one here?
Yep, that one. You got it.
Okay.
Still shows. Now, here's what I was going to tell you to do. We switched the Stripe account successfully, right? And everything's showing just fine. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to, leave this page open. I want you to go back to ClickFunnels, where we were at. I want you to go up to the settings, the one you always like. Yep. And I want you to scroll down and select test mode on for Stripe. We're going to test this bitch. Scroll down. All the way, hit save. Now you're going to be in test mode. It'll tell you at the upper right-hand corner that you're in test mode when you're on the page. So like if we go back to that checkout page. Nope. You already have it open in a tab. Next, it's the tab over to the right. There you go. Refresh this page. See how it says not secure? It still says not secure because it's not secure. It makes me think that they have a lag issue of some kind. I'm not even seeing there's supposed to be a pop-up that shows you the test data. Shift refresh.
Shift refresh.
Hold shift and press refresh. Or click refresh and hold shift while you're doing it. Nothing. See at the top right there where your logo is, there's supposed to be this little bar, this alert bar that says, hey, your Stripe account is in test mode. Wait a second, we're on the direct website. I take that back. Go back to ClickFunnels and go into, would it be under edit page? Click on deposit and preview page, the preview page button, that one. That's going to show the warning. There it is. There it is. Okay. My bad. So we're going to take that card number and we can input it, any kind of fake email we want. Doesn't matter. It's not actually going to have to deliver or anything. And then it's going to also, as long as the year and date or month and year, as long as those are a future date, meaning not 12/20/20, so think like 12/23, then you'll be fine. And then, or there you go, it's 789 and submit the deposit. And because it's in test mode, what it'll do is it should kick you to there we go. Thank you page, everything checked out, dynamic data, very good. Now what we want to do is go to Stripe. And we want to see, do you have test data turned on in your Stripe account?
I know it's on live right now.
Well, yeah, the account's live. I'm saying view test data. There's a toggle, so you'll see it. Hold on. Go ahead and log in. I'm going to come away from your screen while you're doing that, if that's okay. I mean, just for extra security. I know you got 2FA and all that, but still. How was traveling back? That was probably a bitch, I guess.
Let's see.
I'm sorry?
I know it's. I think it's set up in Firefox.
Oh, that's fine. No, I was saying how was the travel back to get the phone and everything?
Oh, it took all day because I have to jump on a bus and then it takes me there and then.
I know it was a pain in the ass, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah,
I know that. I hated having to tell you that too. I wish I could have been like. Sometimes I wish I was, a miracle worker like that. Like I can work some miracles, but just not those kind. I can't make phones appear. But man, if I could, what would I do with it? I'd do that. I'd be like Julian's phone, like because that would have been so useful for sure.
I have to log in to do it.
That's okay. I'm not on your screen, so nobody's seeing anything you're doing. You and I are the only ones actually inside of the um, Zoom call as well.
Right.
And I don't have to let anybody else in for right now either. So you're safe. Your secrets are safe with me.
Oh, that's excellent.
I'm just glad we're working through it. And
yes, because I had potential customer calls to sign them up today, but I just couldn't get I was supposed to be at 12 noon. And
well, guess what? You're about to jump off this call and take a breath, of course, right? Stretch it out, walk around, do a quick 5-minute walk. I promise you're going to want it. You get on the phone, close that business, and then come back and tell us all about it.
Okay. Right.
And for the record, so everybody knows what's going on, because they can't see shit except for this ugly face over here talking about mine. Julian's got to do some password stuff and get. What we're trying to do is get him logged into Stripe so that we can see in the test data if that $200, that fake $200 as a test mode purchase we did in ClickFunnels actually went through as test data inside of his Stripe account. If it shows under the test data, which you can toggle on and off, actually on the account very easily, it'll tell us if that data is actually being sent. And if it's being sent via test mode, guess what? When he goes live with that, it's going to work 100%. There's no doubt at that point. And so the only question then at that point for Julian will be, why the fuck is his site not secured yet? And that's a ClickFunnels thing, dude, straight up. And I've seen them sometimes take a longer time like that, and it's not like somebody's sitting around not asleep at the switch or something. That's not how it goes. It's something to do server related that maybe things are running slower right now, and I'm not sure what that would be. But excuse me. Ooh, hell of a day today. Good day, just craziness. Having to bounce around everywhere. That's okay though. I won't have to do that probably ever again, because I've got some things in mind for structure to avoid those kinds of issues.
What's going on the mentorship side of things?
What do you mean?
Are they having some kind of December blitz as well? December dash?
Well, they're as long as they qualify, they can participate. It just depends on what they qualify for. Art's actually in the mentorship, and because he had less than 5 clients when he started, he qualified for a lot of the stuff, if not all of it. But yeah, they're part of the same December dash. Yeah, I included everybody in Ring Ads.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. You're almost there, 2FA. And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a look and see if there's any comments while we're. Nope, nothing else. Okay. Well, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments or come into the Zoom room. You might have to be in the waiting room for a second, but not for much longer because I think Julian's about to get inside of his account here shortly. Okay, perfect. See where it says view test data?
Yes.
Over there, and then toggle that on. That little switch, toggle that on. There you go. And you should see $200 come through, or that has come through.
Where did you see that?
I said you should see it. Don't see it.
Okay.
Payments, go to payments, see if it shows up in payments. I mean, it should be plain as day listed. There's test data. No test payments succeeded. Oh, we switched accounts. That's why. Damn it. My bad. There we go. I guess that's the one. You'd have to tell me, but
Yes.
and
yes,
and make sure test data. It looks like test data is on. There she is. Boom. And then if you go to the home page, should pop up with some initial data on the. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
There's all your data. Looking good, dude. So now what I would do is go back, take the Stripe account out of test mode, save those settings inside of ClickFunnels, right? Under one tab over to the left. There you go. And then settings, upper right-hand corner. Scroll down to Stripe, test mode off, and then hit save. Oh, hello. ClickFunnels like, hey, you got your first lead. There you go. Scroll down, hit save. You'll see that warning. That'll go away when you're not in test mode. So when that funnel was updated successfully, when that goes away, if there's no warning, then you're golden. Actually, there you go. Okay.
So, we don't
so
need to
now, no, you've already saved, right? Yeah, you're good. So now we've got to figure out your SSL thing, and that's probably going to be a ClickFunnels thing, but it should solve itself or resolve itself, I guess is the right terminology, shortly, I would think. What was the towing calls direct?
Yes. That's correct.
Nope, still takes me to the fucking dashboard. That's crazy. My dashboard, actually. Takes me to clickfunnels.com. www. Towing calls direct. That's the damnedest thing. I've seen this happen before. I have seen this happen before. And my issue was it hadn't had enough time to resolve. And I'm like, well, how much fucking time do you need? And
Yeah.
it happened like 8 hours later, which is a pain in the ass. But I would hit their support up and see if you can get them back on the line for that, even though you're waiting on something else.
I couldn't get support at all. I tried looking online. It's like there's a phone number. There was no phone number.
Oh, it's right. It's built into the chat. You should have a chat button up top. If you don't have to.
It was just sending me to documents here. That was it. My support request.
That's where there should be a chat function.
Last activity. Waiting my reply. Waiting my reply.
Yeah, looks like they answered it. So click on it. There's a blue link over. It's hyperlinked. There you go. You should be able to open that up and respond to it with your issue currently. Should also send it to your email address as well, so you can respond via email on top of that. And there should be a chat function in the bottom right-hand corner that we can't actually see right now, that I can't see. No, not scrolling. I'm saying it's fixed. It's usually fixed in the bottom right-hand corner. Do you have some kind of like, do you have a lot of extensions and stuff that block stuff or something going on?
I have this one, uBlock.
What is it?
uBlock.
Okay.
It's an ad blocker.
Can you temporarily turn that off and see if the chat function shows up?
Okay.
There should be, there it is. Your
Okay.
fucking ad blocker, man. I knew you had to have something in your browser experience that is fucking shit up, and that might be the cause of a lot of problems. Um, Not saying that you can't ever turn it back on, mind you, but please be aware of just basic stuff like that, because I don't use ad blocks like that, right? Um, this is where, so whenever, here's my point, Julian. Whenever you submit a ticket in this thing, it's going to run you through like an automated, semi-automated, well, automated fully at first, and then it'll forward you to the right department where there's an actual human on the other end. And so in this case, we would want to say, I'm having an issue with uh, SSL domains. So domains SSL, as long as you use those keywords, it's going to pop up and say, hey, here's a couple of articles. Does this help you? And you're going to be like, I still need help. That whole thing. And it'll forward you over to the domain department and get you sorted. That way you don't have to wait, cut down your wait time, right? Glad we figured that chat thing out, because that's going to help a ton. Maybe need help ASAP. Money on the line, need help ASAP. Show me that urgency, Julian. That's where we're at, right? I mean, and it sucks, but at the same time, it's also maybe they can help and get to it faster. Is the point. So then we're going to send. You should be able to actually establish priority level too. So there's know that I still need help. And then it's no, I still need help. No problem. We can ask an expert, still need a human. And then it's going to be support type, select from the drop down, should be like domains, technical support there, start with that. And then it's going to say another drop down, business impact. It's going to be like fucking critical. Right? Then it's going to be app category, should be like domains. There she is. Oh, wait, is SSL there? No, just domains. Okay, so domains, see if SSL is an option on the next one, unless that was it. Perfect. That's it. See how easy that was? So like that's that now you're waiting, but you're waiting with like your ticket at the top, and it's about SSL and the fact that shit's not propagating fast enough, and you got money on the line. So whenever they do respond, you're gonna need to keep an eye out, right? And it'll respond automatically to your email,
Right.
as well, and just keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
And respond back appropriately. But they should be able to, and keep checking also your whether your site is secured or not. Which the best way to do that is to keep going back to it occasionally, but clearing out your cookies and or going in incognito window usually does the trick. On Chrome anyway. I don't know about Firefox, but
Is there anybody else needing assistance with you right now? Or can I go
I'm not seeing anything in the questions, and I don't see anybody else in the Zoom. So if you've got something else, then yeah, let's get through it.
Okay, so I need to sort out the setting up the SMTP with get Mailgun with this, so that transactional email, that thank you email goes out to somebody buys. I've written the
Okay.
email, but
No, wait. The SMTP through ClickFunnels for the thank you email is not done through Mailgun.
Okay, so it's just
It's through their servers. It'll
it's within this.
send. Yeah, it'll send no matter what. And the way you can do that is go back into test mode. You can test it. You can go back into test mode, and if you have the settings of the funnel, right? Not that one, but that one. Yeah. No, that's account settings. Go back to the funnel. The blue settings bar. Yeah, the one you always want to click. That one.
This one here.
Yeah. And go back into test mode on Stripe. You're going to run another test purchase, and this time in the email address field, you're going to put your actual email address. Turn it on.
But I put a real email address.
I'm sorry?
I did put a real email address.
That you can check right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have the email enabled on the thank you email?
Probably not. How do I do that?
Go back to deposit into the products. Which product was it that you purchased? The $200 one, right? Products tab. Edit the product. Go to email up at the top, fulfillment email. See where it says that? Click on that. There you go. It's enabled, and it's a bunch of stuff that you're gonna have to finish filling out. But you should have an email right now that says congratulations.
I had written it out.
Huh?
I had completely filled this out, and I had clicked save. Right.
Yeah, I think your save buttons are kind of fucked right now. I don't know what that's about, but I would think that maybe the ad blocker might have had something to do with it for some reason. I'm not sure, but hit save and close now and see what happens at the bottom. Yeah, see that shit's working now magically, right? So now, and by the way, it was already enabled, so you should have, if you check that email address, you should have an email from yourself. And let me come away from your screen so nobody else sees that. And while I'm waiting on this, if anybody else needs help, you can ask in the questions, ask your questions, in the comments section of the live stream, or come on live, get your help that you need, and let's get you moving. This is a very important week, very big week for those of you that are in full-on client acquisition mode.
We all are.
Right.
It should be. About to log into Melcat. Strange. Page is not loading.
I see that. Yeah.
Go. Still logging in. Wait for the load. Okay, so quick buttons. Other, nothing there.
Check your junk or spam. All you have is junk in an inbox, right? On live. That's right.
Notifications, yes, it's there.
There it is. It's right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
So, okay. So that works. So I just
Works like a charm.
just need to fill it out. make sure that it's properly saved.
Right, and then you're golden at that point,
Okay.
except for with exception to the SSL thing, so that your
Okay.
clients can actually visit the site. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, I mean, and you might want to, while you're in Stripe, go ahead and turn off your test data so you're not freaked out and be like, oh, what's this extra $200? Because
All right.
it'll actually show with your real data, and that would be a pisser, right? So no, thank you.
I
Um,
can
now
log
it's
out
just
of
a
here.
matter of, yeah, now it's just a matter of SSL. Yeah,
Okay. Um,
sweet.
I'm
That's
just
exciting.
curious because it says here the reason why it's just giving me this is because I didn't have my company um, EIN number on me, and so I
Okay.
put in just some fake numbers. Well, some other numbers, and I'm wondering, would that stop them from depositing money to my bank account and so
It's
forth?
entirely possible. I wouldn't screw around with that. That's something where it's like, if they're asking for the details, Stripe is one of those guys that, a lot like teach you about Google AdWords, transparency is everything. In fact, if anything, it's um, highest priority, because it shows them that you're real, that you care, that you're going to be responsive, that you're going to fix whatever needs to be fixed. Like you're not pliable, but you're flexible and um, eager to do good business, as opposed to someone who just chooses not to fill that stuff in or till later, or respond, or be like super late in responding, all that kind of stuff. So hope that makes sense. But I would jump on that as quickly as possible. It's not something I would
That
delay on.
means another trip back to New York City.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, that's where the stuff is at. I'm back in Pennsylvania. I
Uh,
was plan I
how
was
did you?
planning.
Okay, hold on. How did you? Let's before we just put you on another bus. Hold on. Let's let's talk through this for a second. The date that it said it was required by is when?
January 27th.
Okay. When are you scheduled to go home? Like, when are you trying to go back home?
Uh, January 5th, 6th,
January what?
5th or 6th.
5th or 6th. So in a few days, like in a
Yeah,
week.
right, in a week.
Okay. What I would do is tell them that you're on, like, send in a support email to them, which you can do very easily. You use their support, there's a contact form or whatever, able to send in a ticket, and tell them, listen, uh, I have a few accounts with you guys. I'm above board. I have my EIN number. Um, I'm on vacation right now. I'll be home on the 5th or 6th. I would say by the 7th or 8th. In other words, by the end of that week, uh,
Uh-huh.
I will have that information well ahead of the deadline. I just wanted you to be like, you're going above and beyond to inform them so that they're not sitting around nervous, or looking at that going, well, that looks shady or suspicious. And they also get an extra point of communication with you, seeing that you're responsive, and not only responsive, but going out of your way to be super helpful. So that's something I would do if I were you. Um,
Okay.
just because you can do that from where you're at right now and save yourself a fucking trip home, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, preserve, and if anything, start to build a good relationship with that third party processor, right? So that's what I would do if I were you.
Okay.
As soon as you get home, though, drop everything, take your EIN, punch it into your Stripe details, along with everything else that you can, including website, all that kind of stuff, phone number, you name it. That and then email them again and say, hey, I have updated it, even though you've already updated it, and they see that. Write them back in support and say, hey, I've updated it. Just wanted to let you know. Kind of like not babying them, but just making sure that they see what you see, right? And that you can get a confirmation from them on that kind of stuff. Once that's done, then you're going to be even more savvy as a business owner, and you're going to start putting all your documentation in the cloud. Because I laugh because um, I learned this the hard way too, many years ago though, like back when the cloud first became the cloud. I was like, oh, that's cool. You mean I don't have to worry about heading home or having documents on me all the time? Great. In physical form? Great. I can have them in the cloud. Awesome. That's what I'm going to do then. And ever since then, I've been able to pull out my cell phone, for example, and I could be at a UPS store, or I could be down the street and somebody says, "Hey, I need a copy of your whatever." Could be anything
Mhm.
personal documents, could be anything um, corporate documents, and I'll be like, "Articles of ink, no problem." And it's PDF. What email am I sending that to? Just like that, right from this thing. And if they need, they're like, "Oh no, sir, I'm sorry, I need a physical copy of it." Well, do you have a printer here? No, we don't. Okay, you're going to be a difficult fuck. Okay, cool. Where's the nearest UPS store? Hold on, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I drive my ass down to the UPS store, send a PDF to their email address that they have for the store, and then
Uh-huh.
they print it for me, and then I run it
Right.
back over. So that way I don't have to drive or go back. You see what I'm saying? I
Yes.
always have access to everything. That's why another reason why I said like, wow, you left your phone. Like this is, if there was ever a lifeline, right? This would be, at least for me. This is it right here. Um, if I ever get robbed, you know, knocking on wood here, but if I were to ever get robbed, I would die practically before somebody takes this thing from me. Seriously.
Okay.
And that's not an invitation. I'm just saying, because I am armed. But I am saying that's how important it is to me, and also should it illustrate, I don't leave it. Now, have I forgotten my phone or lost my phone a couple times in my life? Absolutely, I have. But I've never gone somewhere like I'll give you an example. There's times where I dropped my phone and didn't realize I had dropped it, and I was on the way to the truck to head home, and I realized my phone's not in my pocket. Because one of the
Uh-huh.
first things I do is grab my phone out of my pocket before I get into the vehicle so that I know that I have it. And it's just such an ingrained habit of mine. Um, because I have things like so many different, I mean, if you saw all the different 2FA accounts I have, holy shit, man, I mean, and it's going to get even worse in a good way, but like, I mean, I have to scroll. I don't know if you can see that or not, but like, I have to scroll through my Google Authenticator,
Hmm.
um, just to find the account. The and that doesn't count the SMS verification modes I have enabled as well, and it also doesn't count the UB key. Have you heard me talk about the UB key?
Yes. Yes. I think you did. You mentioned something about
Right. I mean, that doesn't count that, right? That sits over there by the computer. Oh man. So yeah, like there's a reason why that has a keychain thing on it, because anytime I take the laptop and I go mobile, guess what comes with me? The UB key. I kind of have to have that, right? Like, um, I consider it as important as oxygen. I gotta have it, or I'm gonna die. And I don't mean that in the way of like what millennials do, where I'm gonna Snapchat and hashtag everything and Instagram this and that. No, I don't. I'm not that kind of a millennial. I'm the kind of millennial that operates a business that, because I have everything in the cloud and I'm able to move quickly. Think about this. What if it came down to whoever gets the deal is the one that can provide me with the documentation the fastest of this kind of documentation or whatever, right? And it's like, what if I had that and it's in the cloud and I could print it off right there on the spot, show them via the phone if that was acceptable enough, but if they needed a hard copy, I could get it printed. And if I couldn't get it printed there, I could get it printed down the street. Whereas the other person, if they didn't have those options, they'd have to go back home or back to their office. And I would be back way before they do. Even if like an act of God happened and I broke my leg, I could drag my sorry ass into the building faster than the other guy, because I had everything in place, right, to be able to do those kinds of things. And I can't tell you how many times, by the way, Julian, it's saved my ass having the phone on me, being able to manage those kinds of things. Um, but some of the solutions, like for example, Adrian suggested one yesterday. Somebody else backed him up and said, "Yeah, this is a good one." Team Viewer was a good one. But Adrian had a couple of suggestions for you. It was not yesterday, the day before, I think, right? Um, and those suggestions, I would take them to heart, because just in case you forget your phone, like it got me thinking, where it's like, fuck, I'm not perfect. There could be very well be a time that I forget my phone and maybe completely leave it somewhere, or it gets lost or stolen. I need to have backups for that. I need to put the tracker I've been meaning to put on the fucking thing. Haven't done that yet. I need to and enable it. I need to set up a remote in so that I can remote in when I want to, and didn't even realize that was possible for the phone from the computer. I was like, what? Okay, I need to investigate more because I just didn't know that. I know about remoting in, but from computer to computer, that's how it's usually referred to or mentioned. I had no idea computer to phone. Are you kidding me? That's exciting. I get excited about that because I
Probably
wonder.
probably on Google, probably Google remote support. That's what
Right,
I've been using.
and here's the question. Here's the question that I have that I'll find out eventually anyway, even if you don't know. Does it also go from phone to computer?
I think
Because
so.
because
Yes.
because that would be
Yes,
something
it
else,
does.
wouldn't it?
I think I may have logged into my girlfriend's computer from my phone using
So you get what
Google.
I'm saying is that
Yes.
all these kinds of technology and having them in place, but even I am like, oh, those are a couple of great suggestions. I should be putting those into place, and not should, I will be, right? And as you can see from my activity and what I do and have on hand, I'm a man of my word on that. Like I keep true to that um, because I understand how important it is. You know, much like I know this sounds crazy, but um, especially times right now, every time is a good time. Well, I believe in the Second Amendment, which over here means right to bear arms, right? Um, and I bear arms. Uh, I keep a firearm at my desk because I know that home invasions happen within the first 30 seconds. They're going to make contact, and usually it's within half that or less, which means I need to be cocked, locked, and ready to go, right? Ready to party and bring all my friends, right? Um, all 16 of them before I ever have to change the mag. And the idea is this, like, um, do I like the idea of having like I'm looking at my gun right now. Do I like the idea of having that there? No. Um, do I do it?
But in New York, you'd have to have it in a safe. You couldn't have it in your desk.
Right, right. Well, I'd have the safe attached to the desk or on top of the desk, and it would be one of those finger codes that I could do like that. And guess
Uh-huh.
what? There's still going to be one in the chamber,
Okay.
right? Um, the safety that I have on my weapon is actually a trigger safety, meaning there's not a flip side safety like on a 1911 or something like a 45. It's very much on the trigger, which means point and shoot very much so. I have a tactical flashlight in case it's dark or somebody cuts the power on me, tries to fuck with me. Not because I'm overly paranoid, but because by the way, most people that get robbed in the States, this is a fact. And by most, I mean the overwhelming majority of robberies, home robberies that happen, are actually home invasions.
Oh,
When
didn't know
people
that.
are home, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I've seen
Most
in
of
New
the
York where people are getting robbed, getting in and out of an elevator when they're going home. But I haven't,
Right.
somebody
Well,
following
that's
through
a
the
perfect vulnerable time that what they
yeah.
call a transition, right? When you're transitioning into from one space to another, like from a car in a garage to the door of your house, or from the sidewalk to the front door, or from an elevator to your apartment door, or things like that. Those are called transition spaces, and how you deal with those is because those are usually choke points or weak points for perpetrators, right? For people that mean you harm or just want what you have. And yeah, I know New York's gun laws are much more strict, especially in the city, than out here in Vegas. I get that. Um, one of the reasons why I live in Vegas, by the way, because I want to be able to um, bear arms and do so to protect
You
myself because
you could
I
bear
take that
arms
very
in Florida
seriously.
too. You could bear
Absolutely.
arms in Florida as well.
I have a I have a concealed carry. Actually, I've got a concealed carry license for three different states. I've got one for Arizona. Not that I need it because it covers me almost nationwide. Almost all of them do. But there's my Las Vegas concealed carry. Um, this is my Arizona concealed carry. Okay, and this is my Florida concealed carry. All right, I've got them all. I did that because I wanted coverage just in case I move around. And I say move around, not residence necessarily, but travel, because I do travel to Florida a lot, and Arizona's so close. I might as well go ahead and get that. Uh, and Dale's down in Arizona, so I plan on seeing him down in Lake Havasu. So not a bad idea to have all those. But I guess more importantly, the idea is I like to be prepared as possible. Does that mean I'm always how do I describe this? Am I human? Yes. Are there going to be times where maybe I forget to bring the weapon to the desk when I come to the desk in the morning? No. You know why? Because it's as important to me as because to me it's my life. And the way I look at the phone is the same exact way. The only difference is it's a different kind of machine or tool.
Okay.
It's just it accesses different things. You get the point. Um, there's certain things like that in my life. My keys, my wallet, my phone. To make the Adam Sandler joke based on that song he sings, keys, wallet, phone, keys, wallet, phone. Then there's things that I have at the desk like the passport and stuff like that, so that I can bounce in a moment's notice if I need to, like on a trip. But I also have the weapon at any time, at within reach, because I understand how precious time is. And here's the other thing: like right now, I'm on a headset with cancellation, very good noise cancellation, I might add, to where sometimes I barely hear what's going on around me. I'm not going to have hardly any time to react if I'm the only one in the house, and which is not always the case, but if I'm the only one in the house and you get my point, and I don't hear that, I need to be able to reach for that weapon and go to town. That's not paranoia. That's being smart. That's being prepared. Um, do I take the weapon with me when I leave the office? Yeah, I do. Very much so. I carry. Um, so I'm an active carry guy, but at the same time, I don't brag about it or anything. I'm just pointing out the fact of being prepared. Um, I'll give you another good example. I wear a watch still. You know why? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You're way
In case,
too.
in case the phone dies.
In case the phone
In case,
dies, I guess so, but not really.
I don't know.
Are there places where your phone is not allowed?
Um, Not allowed to be on, but to receive calls, but it's always on. I mean, like in a courtroom or in a
Right.
somewhere.
Well, are there places where you have to leave your phone because you can't go in with that with it?
I've not been to such a
The
place.
short answer is yes. Whether you know what they are or not doesn't matter. But yes, the answer is yes. Um, and the other thing is, uh, how much easier is it for me to? I know some people suck at doing this casually, but you know how easy it is for me to like glance over and see my watch and know what time it is without having to be rude or
Oh
be
yeah,
on the phone, right? At a
right,
dinner table, for example.
right.
And to me, a watch is actually a sign of like the dying chivalrous class, where believe it or not, I know I'm foul mouthed, but I do still very much believe in manners, dinner etiquette, which I'm very trained on, and holding the door open, ladies first, yes ma'am, no ma'am, all that stuff, and appreciate using it because I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I was raised that way, because it's the right thing to do, whatever. But I still practice those very much, and a watch is kind of a sign of that dying breed, if you will. Um, whereas everybody is, I can't tell you how many times I've been to like a nice restaurant, and even today, and see people on their phone, and it's like not just the kids, it's sometimes the wife, the husband, right, or the family, and I'm like, really? Like they can't even enjoy their own company enough to, So I have a watch so that I don't have to have the phone when I don't need it, and I have the phone when I need it, so I'm prepared for all circumstances. I have a deal pin, I call it, always on me. And it's one of the reasons why I wear collared shirts all the fucking time, because this thing goes with me everywhere. Not to brag or to point it out, but because it sits right here so that I'm ready for what at all times.
Signing a contract.
Goddamn
Let me
right. I want that business, baby. So yeah, I want to be prepared for that. I'm serious. Like, but see, how many people think like that? Not many. Military people I know are always trained uh, after they get out of basic to have a pen and pencil, a pen or pencil or both, and something to like some kind of scratch or post-it notes, for example, to write on at all times because you may need it. You know, and most of actually I'd say the overwhelming majority of people that I served with, um, even the high speed ones, didn't really take that to heart. I did, and guess what? I was always the that guy who uh, was able to do what the others couldn't because I had the pen. You know, one thing I did notice, which I found interesting, was all the and that was among the enlisted. All the officers, though, they had pens. They had pens. You know why? Because most of their job is writing efficiency reports, reviews, paperwork, yada, 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 right? Signing orders, that kind of stuff. That was their job, more or less. Even if they were operators, in tactical in the field, for example, they still had paperwork to write up at the end. And so they always had pens handy. And I also noticed that the super high speed guys, most of them, in most cases, definitely had something to write with, a pen, and it was a reliable pen, not a piece of shit either, right? Not something you get from the bank uh, or the real estate pens. I'm talking about like a maybe not a Mont Blanc like I carry for the deal pen, but again, that's my deal pen, so I want to feel good when I'm writing signing a good deal, right, or signing a contract or anything like that. So I always keep that there as a good reminder, but also because I want to be prepared. And there's been times where I've been on a deal signing and they're like, you got a pen? And I'm like, wow, they didn't bring a pen. And of course I go, right. And I just whip it out and just sign it, put it right back. And they're like, like like, I've never thought of that before. And I'm like, man, yeah. And it shows, I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Definitely. Because somebody that's got a contract and they don't have a pen and they have to borrow mine, man, they must not want that money bad enough. I don't know. Badly enough. So yeah, not saying you have to carry a pen and wear a fucking collared shirt all the time. I'm just giving you some perspective on some of the things that I do that you can pick up on for yourself and develop for yourself habits wise to have at the ready. I lost a. Here's another good one. I lost a friend, actually a few friends, early on in life. Sophomore year of high school, I lost three in one weekend. One was a really good friend, and the other two were uh, people I knew, or kids that I knew, but wasn't close to. But still, kids that you go to school with. That's not cool to have three deaths like that in inside of a weekend. And I was traveling, so I come back to that. Three people are dead. That sucked, and all of them died in motor vehicle accidents. Two of them died because they couldn't get their seatbelt off. Now, being younger, I said, well, I don't care, seatbelt law be damned. I'm just not going to wear a seatbelt then because they killed my friends and I don't trust seatbelts anymore. And um, come to think about it, upon reflection, rather, I haven't been cited for any tickets, again, knock on wood, but I also do wear my seatbelt now. You know why I wear my seatbelt now? Because there's this nifty little tool that was developed by some cool people. This one happens to be Smith& Wesson. And I say tool because it's actually a knife, right, with a serrated edge. But if you notice, there's a little carbide tip for breaking glass. I don't know if you can see that. And then see that little hook? That's
Yes.
made to cut seat belts. It's got a razor
Oh,
blade in there, right? And this blade, it's a double blade. That blade actually feeds into the opposite side of the razor blade, which means I could just cut the seat belt. I'm out, no matter what. So I always wear my seatbelt because it's a smart thing to do, not because of the ticket, but because of safety. But I also have the ability to get out of the fucking thing. And if the car goes into water, bam, I can break the glass with that carbide tip on the end. And if all else fails, I've got the actual knife to cut through the rest of the seatbelt if the cutty cut thing don't work, right? Um, and I guess what? When
do you
I
think
when I
this is
leave,
the military training that's allowed you to always be prepared in the sense that
what do
looking
you
for
mean?
contingencies? So,
Do I think it's
is it
what?
your military training that has you
No,
look at?
no.
No.
it started for me very young. The military training definitely um, magnified that and showed a lot of real world examples, a lot more, let me say, real world examples on some of the safety sides. For example, the knife. And again, I say knife, it's really a tool. I don't actually use this to, sometimes I'll use, this is like my letter opener slash package opener. I'm not using this to stab people, right? Or protect myself. That's what I got the gun for. Of course, proper force in response, but um, that's an absolute last resort, in other words. But
Yeah.
the knife I'm actually more focused on with the tip for the breaking the glass in case I need to get out of a flooded vehicle, and also the seatbelt in case I just get trapped in the seatbelt because I've had friends that I've lost due to direct experience. Which again, sophomore year of high school, I was not in the military. Right, I didn't join the military till I was 22, almost 23 years old, which most people join when they're 17, 18 years old. Um, I had a few years out and about before I joined. Now, that said, it started very early for me. Um, my my father was a real stickler. That's a nice way of me saying it for being observant. So back when I was little, we'd be on a road somewhere, for example, and keep in mind my father was hearing impaired. We'd be traveling somewhere, and he'd want to go across town or go 2 towns over or something to get something done. And so he'd pick me up after school and we'd go. And so I'm his pocket interpreter. I interpret for him at that point. Basically, that's why he's bringing me. Otherwise, he really could, I guess, care less. Um, but I'm in the middle of doing homework and I don't get car sick like that. So I can read, I can do homework, I can do whatever in the passenger seat of the car, and not have a problem. Had a strong stomach, still do, no issues. But my head was always buried in a book or buried into something I'm reading, learning, studying, doing whatever I got to do. And he would always like, it's almost like I react today to kids and family members on their phone at dinner. It's like, really look around, open your eyes, look around and take in the environment. What if something were to go down right now? Not that your first thought should be paranoia, but like look around, engage in conversation, and instead of just burying your head in the sand with a book or with a phone. It translates very well to a book. Uh, and so my dad used to smack me upside the head really fucking hard and say, "What did that billboard say?" Because we'd be driving on the highway or the interstate. And I'd say, "I don't know. I was studying I'm doing my homework or I'm doing whatever." He's like, "Exactly. You're not fucking aware. There's no situational awareness." He didn't say those words because that's military talk, but um, he would imply that I'm not aware of anything going on around me in my environment. And he's like, "That's how you get in big trouble. Like that's how accidents happen. That's how things happen." And so it got to the point where he would constantly push my buttons and test me to where I had to get really good at, not by choice, but had to, unless I just wanted to get hit upside the head all the time. I had to get good at doing what I was doing, looking at the billboard and other stuff occasionally, and going and being able to still concentrate on what I'm doing while doing this. Not every 2 seconds or anything, but every 15, 20 seconds or so, I'd read a couple sentences, comprehend it, accept it, look around, see what dad's doing. He's driving. Okay, cool. We're coming up on the exit. Cool. Right. And go back to, so that's part of the development of how I'm able to have four screens and not be all confused and clusterfucked, but have them laid out to where I know exactly what I'm doing. Like I've got OBS over here, I can immediately do what I need to do. But out of the corner of my eye, I've got the waiting room and I see nobody's there. I see your screen on the Zoom. I've got Facebook up here for the comments, which I can switch back over to real quickly. See how fast I'm able to just like, I'm not a genius. I'm just able to, it's a learned skill, guys. It's learned skills. That's all it is. Uh, does it take years and years to learn it? No, it does not. I am happy to say. It's more of a habit based. That's why I was explaining to you, Julian, about how if anything, I'm addicted to creating habits that are going to protect me, protect my family, uh, help further along any kind of, or not shortcuts, but help further along and speed up any process that would normally take a lot of time. Like in everything that I do. even as so far as to with the ClickFunnels ticket, the reason why I was such a stickler about, man, we really got to figure out that chat button thing. Now you know why. You saw how fast that was and how I was able to just walk you through that process. I've been through that quite a few times, right? And I wanted you to be able to take advantage of that because I've got that down to a science where you're going to be able to get a response faster than most people get, not because you marked it as critical. That's part of it. That's a part of the puzzle, a piece of the puzzle, but because it's been there, done that, right? Um, and I'm just trying to give you multiple examples of what that looks like in my life so that you can start applying it to yours and take a look around your life and say, okay, this is what I could do to start developing these habits that are going to save my ass. And usually uh, it starts with the things that saved your ass unintentionally. Or, man, I'm sure glad, if you've ever said this before, and I'm sure you have because everybody has, uh, man, I'm sure glad that was there. Or, man, I'm sure glad I had this on hand. Or, man, that came in handy, right? Those things, that should be like, I'm always going to have that on hand now. And I'm not saying you have to carry all this stuff and baggage, but I mean, dude, a key, a keys, your phone, a knife, and a handgun, which just happens to sit in the vehicle. Um, that's not that much. I'm not carrying around a ton of baggage. That's stuff that goes in the pockets and in the belt, right? My hands are still free. like, like I carry all that stuff. My hands are free, and my pants aren't weighing me down either. Um, and the exchange of value that I get from being able to run my business from virtually anywhere, even more so now with that remote tip, right, from the phone, being able to get out of an emergency situation in a vehicle, even if I'm not the one driving, I could save lives, including my own. Same thing for the handgun, for the weapon, and then keys. I'm able to go in and out of wherever I normally go in and out of, right? Um, and also, there's a couple of little add-ons like a little SIM card thing for the phone. I keep that on my key ring. You get the point. I'm not always prepared, but I'm more prepared than most. I'm prepared to do business. I'm prepared to take care of business. I'm prepared to save some lives. I'm prepared to again do more business, but a different kind of business like maintenance, new business with the pen. You get the point. There's I'm just ready to go, right? I'm just ready to go, and I think that it does play a major part in those habits play a major part in how I do business, but also why I'm so efficient. And that's why I'm sharing those with you so that you can take advantage of those learning lessons without having to learn the hard way. That whole bus shit had to have sucked, especially in the weather, man. I feel so bad. At the same time, though, I can't not tell you the truth. I just can't do that. I guess I could, but I'd rather not. I'd rather be 100% transparent and honest with you and tell you, hey, man, that bus ride is going to suck, but it's going to be worth it because if you try to go this way with the closing of the clients, this is what you're going to run into. And it's a clusterfuck and a half. Uh, and this is actually a cakewalk compared to all the stuff you've done up to this point is still a cakewalk compared to what it would be like trying to close every client the way I described to you in that past call. Um, so you're going to do better business. Everybody's going to appreciate it, including you at the end of the day. And you're going to be set up and running like a top here shortly, as soon as this fucking SSL thing gets sorted. All because of what we're talking about, some of the habits that I've helped you form and shown you. Uh, Not necessarily the gun and stuff, but the business side, right, of the ClickFunnels support operation. Um, Notice how we went through things, right, and we tested everything fully, and then confirmed the test results on everything. So that way, it's like, okay, everything's working the way it needs to be working, with exception of the SSL, which means clients can't visit the site yet. That's it. That's it. Um, and you'll get an answer on that and something that'll actually help you because they're going to be able to see that it hasn't propagated yet or what's going on, and get you sorted. But that's a very, very. I mean, you look at the gap you had and look at how you've closed it, right, to this point. And it's a matter of time before this. Look, it says 24 to 48 hours before they fully propagate. It used to not say that, I don't think, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
right. This should. I mean, I've always seen it in a few minutes.
Yeah. So you're not a stranger to that either. I mean, it's odd to see that, but I have seen it before. It's rare for sure, but I have seen it. Let me see if I can pull it up now. Towing calls direct since we've been on the call for a little bit. Nope, takes me to the dashboard. Well, shit.
It says this was originally. It said here that I hadn't set it up. I hadn't set up my root domain all the way to make it to ClickFunnels. So I know I've done this step, and I did that with the help of somebody named Steve.
Hmm.
And I know this part is correct. I just don't know whether or not there's something in ClickFunnels on the other side.
Your audio faded out. You just don't know what?
If there's something I need to do on ClickFunnels.
Nothing that you haven't already done, which is link the domain and saved it to the funnel itself. And what else?
It's right there.
I mean, it's SSL. It's secured. I mean, there's nothing else, man. There's really nothing else.
Okay.
So maybe it just
So
hasn't
maybe it just
it
hasn't.
just hasn't taken yet. That's the
Okay.
only thing I can think of.
All right. Well, hopefully in the morning, if I don't hear from somebody soon.
I'd keep it. Yeah, I'd keep an eye on it today because it's still only 4 o'clock our time, or coming up on 4 o'clock in the afternoon over here on this side. And they're based out of what, Idaho. So that's
Yes.
at least Mountain Time, if not Pacific. I think Pacific actually. So that's my time, which means it's not even 4 p.m. yet, and their support might be working a little bit later. I tend to see responses. I've seen responses as late as like 6, 7, 8 o'clock my time. So it's possible that you could get a response, especially the fact that it's listed as critical. So uh,
All right.
stay tuned.
We'll do.
Stay
We'll do.
tuned. And
Well,
good
thank you.
job, dude, for persevering.
Well,
Seriously.
well, thank you so much for helping out.
My pleasure, as always. And thank you for being understanding to let me go do the mentorship call for a couple hours and come back. I appreciate your patience on that. And it's
Well, I
all
didn't sit.
downhill from
I didn't
here.
sit still. I didn't sit still. When I
That's
got
no, I see that. Yeah, I see that,
different
which is
name,
good. That's
started
good.
started. Yeah.
That's what I want to see, by the way. You did good. I mean, I did not commend you for that. I apologize. Yeah, you did good. You did not sit still. I had said, hey, try this, try that, try a couple things while I'm gone. I'll be back at 2, though. Please be back.
Yeah.
And you showed up, and that, man, you can't ask for more than that. You showed back up. We'll knock this thing out. We'll get it dialed in. And
Yeah.
yeah, good on you for that. So
Well, I don't think I'll get these clients today, but I will go after them first thing tomorrow. Um, and I have a noon appointment with somebody. 12 noon their time, 2 o'clock my time. Um, so they want me to
excuse me.
sign them up through a video conference call. I'm not too keen on that, but I'll do what it takes. So
Well,
I
keep your
won't
pep
tell
up. I
myself
mean,
this.
that's actually, if anything, that's going to be a much easier sell. Even if you have to use the script, it's kind of like you already know what you're selling, so it'll be a good test as well
It
for
was
how well you
so
know the script.
it was so easy with her. I told her what we were doing, told her what was an offer. She said, "Yeah, I'll take it." She said, "What was the
Sweet.
price?" I said, "This is the price." She says, "Yeah, I'll take it." And
Cool.
then I tried to to say, "Okay, go to my website," and there's like, there's some technical issues here. I had to get back
Uh-oh.
to her, and she said, "Well, we'll." My fiance wants to do something and speak with you, so we'll talk on Monday or Tuesday. And I said, well, let's do Tuesday. I had a feeling there might be an issue for Monday, plus I had
Right.
2 other calls scheduled, so moved it for
Well,
Tuesday.
what I would tell her when you get this resolved is, because SSL is secure socket layer, right? I don't know if you know that or not, but that's what it means. And it's also used for, especially for payments, payment processors and checkouts. In other words, Stripe requires your website to actually be SSL for it to work properly, right? in order for the data to be submitted securely, let's say, through that 256-bit encryption, all that stuff. Not that you need to explain this like it's rocket science or jargon and all that, but what you say is, I explained that to you so that you could explain this to them. Um, Sorry about the site issues. My site's fine. It just needed the SSL certificate, which means it's secure, and we take payments, right? We take the initial deposit through our website, which means there are certain requirements for us to maintain PCI compliance. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's merchant account processing. In other words, for us to be above board and accept payments and be a legitimate provider, which we are, to maintain that status, we have to. There's certain things, certain hoops we have to jump through, right? Much like you being licensed, bonded, insured, right? Having a DOT number, that kind of thing, right? And you can talk to them in their language of what that's like for them, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, that's a pain in the ass, right? But got to do it." And they're going to feel better about that because you're talking about their payment being protected, their payments being protected. And that's a language you can speak to them very clearly without having to go through the whole technical jargon and all this stuff. You can explain it very easily to them and almost matter of fact. Don't make it sound like, oh, it's been a fucking nightmare. You can talk to me like that about it. That's cool. I'll take that so that your clients don't have to. With your clients, you want to make it all almost like, oh, it's, no big deal, right? And it really isn't. It just took longer than and frustrated me, and other people, of course, more than you would like. But you don't want to share that frustration with the client. To them, it's like, it is what it is, right? It rolls right off my
Right.
back, no big deal. But to me, if you want to be like, oh fuck, that was a nightmare, that's fine. I can't believe I had to drive all the way fucking back to this. Okay, I can accept that more than, and that's why I say, hey man, I felt bad, but at the same time, I'd much rather you get this straight dope and transparency now or a few days ago, so that you're where you're at now, because you're still within very good striking distance of the goals that you have set for this week. Nothing has changed about that, actually. Still, if anything, you're actually even closer because of where you're at in the process, and the only thing left is SSL, and it's probably just propagation time. That's probably all you're looking at, which, I mean, that's a good problem to have. That's a good client's waiting on you, ready to go. Propagation hits, Julian's on the board, right? Just like that. And not only will you be on the board, you'll be making shit happen big time. So
I will. I will. I'm not going to get to. I doubt I'm going to get to 30, but um, we'll see what I'm able to do. And um, there's all of January. I mean, this has been the kick up my ass that I needed. So
I
there's all of
wouldn't
January
say
to
I
do.
wouldn't say it that way. I don't doubt that you'll get to 30.
No, I will get to 30. It's just I won't get it
Now
by
how do you
Friday.
now how do you know?
I don't. I don't.
And
Um,
so by saying that, are you doing what's called creating what's called a limiting belief?
um,
Yeah,
I
100%.
don't know. I
You
mean,
have
I had
limited. What if
I
you
had
could do
12.
50?
I had 12 calls come in, and they were coming in so quickly. It was a bit of a problem for me in that the dialer is supposed to stop dialing when I'm on a call, but people were calling me back from maybe listening to the
You
answering
just
machine
you just
or
follow up.
seeing.
You just follow up with them, Julian. Don't let it freak you out. Just follow up with them. No big
Yeah,
deal. It's another
yeah,
missed call. It's phone tag. No big deal. Don't
yeah.
don't don't let that rile you up. Let's
No,
not get
no,
off the topic here. 30
no. I
clients
mean,
and you
I,
setting that as a limit.
um,
Why would you do that to yourself?
why would I set 30? Because 30 would be brilliant. I mean, 30
Well,
in
if you
4
think
days
30,
would,
well, that's the
would be
thing. If you
would be.
think 30 would be brilliant, what about 50?
Um, if I had a team, I would expect us to get 50.
See,
I mean,
but you're making justifications, Julian. You're making justifications. That's the problem. Not that you, because I know you'll hit 30 clients eventually. Everybody knows that, right? Uh, that's not what drives people to get to 30 and 30 fast. You want to get to 30 fast, you got to believe it's possible and possible this week. You know, when I
Okay.
start a day and I go after clients, I don't go after clients going, man, it'd be nice to have a 2 or 3 client day or a 5 client day. I go in and say, it'd be nice to everybody that's a fit, I close. And I plan on talking to a lot of fucking people today. Am I gonna now at the end of the day, what do I end up with? Several clients, as opposed to maybe not 30, but 3 or 4 days of that, I can hit close to 30, if not hit 30. So I don't want you. I feel like you're limiting yourself. And do you remember earlier in the call? Were you present for the first part of the call, the first 20 minutes of the call of the
Yes,
December
when
Dash call? Okay.
the lady who fell flat on her
Fell.
face.
That's
Yeah.
the exactly. So you knew exactly where I was going, and that's good because that means you've latched onto that concept. That's the difference between the Julian who gets up and dusts himself off, which, by the way, is commendable. Forgot to mention that, I guess, in the beginning. It's not a bad thing. But the better thing, right? The better thing is you popping up without any thought and instinctively just taking off, right? That's that no limitations. So get those limitations out of your head, please, because if there was somebody to do it, you are one of the few that could probably pull that off. And I say are most likely to pull that off because I know you're chomping at the bit. I know what you have on the hook ready to go. I see where you're at in the processes. There's no reason why, and I know you're vertical, like there's no reason why you can't pull 15 this week, 20 this week, 25 this week. You really could. Um, and yet you don't have this afternoon, but tomorrow, what happens if you go on a streak of 6 hours and every hour you're pulling in a couple clients? That's entirely possible, and not just on a slim margin of likelihood. I'm talking about there's a decent likelihood out of the gate of you doing that. Now, every day that goes by, obviously that window closes more and more, right? But the pace of 30 clients in a week, and this being a short week, is very likely for you based on what I know about you and where you're at in the process and what you have going for you. You've got to believe it though, dude. Because if you don't, and you think 10 or 15 is your limit, what are you going to hit? Do you think you're going to hit 10 to 15? It's possible. It's
Yes, it's
possible.
possible. Possible.
But possible is not highly likely. See, if you shoot for 10, what's highly likely is going to be about half that,
Uh-huh.
right? And then
No,
as you get
I
closer
believe
to
I
the
could.
10 that
I
you
believe
think
I
you're
can.
going
I
to
can get
hit,
one an hour. I believe I can get one an hour. If I get people contacting me, um, my my expectation is that anybody contacts me, I should be able to close them because, especially if they've
well,
listened to
you
the
want to make sure
message.
they're a fit. You want to make sure they're a fit. But yes, you're correct in that that's the way you need to be thinking. Which, by the way, doesn't line up with 10 to 15 in this week. It lines up more with the 30. And what's the harm in shooting for 30 and all out shooting for 30, right? That pop up and run, right? Um, and you going halfway and still hitting 15.
Mhm.
That's what I would be. That's why I want you to. I'm doing a little course correction with you because I want you to see what I see in you. And I know it's harder for people to see in themselves sometimes. I get it, dude. There's times I look in the mirror and go, who is this guy? What does he do? Right? Even today. Uh, but not for very long. Not for very long. So hear me when I say this. Like I see you. I see what you're doing. I see what you've done. I see what you've accomplished. I see the head on your shoulders. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're gonna be fine. More than fine, really. But don't limit yourself by any means to 30 or to 15 clients. Go for 30, right? That way, your worst case is what you just now considered your best case this week. Your worst case will be half that, which is 15. Um, and like you said, 30 would be brilliant. You'll get there one way or the other. But man, wouldn't it be cool if you could actually pull that off this week? And it's not only possible, it's actually right now with the time you have left, likely if you actually get on it. So
Okay, I'll start early.
yes, yes, start early and stay late,
Yeah,
at least for the
I'll do
next few
that.
days, and it's going to
Yes.
make a difference. It will. Okay.
Yeah. I've done something a little. I've partnered with a company that allows me to offer towing companies the ability to charge um, uh, their fees by mobile phone. to somebody, and also to be able to get the 3% that they normally have to pay for credit card payments to get that back.
Oh,
So,
nice. Is that
so
that service? I saw a service advertised lately for taking mobile payments. What was the name of that? I bookmarked it. Let me see if I can find it.
So the idea is that I can let them know that by not only can I get them the calls, but I can eliminate their gone on arrivals and also get their service fees, um,
And
uh,
mobilize it.
mobilize it, and so that if somebody can just tap on
Podium.
the mobile phone.
Podium payments.
No, maybe they're a reseller of the company, but I just created a domain called eCard Payments, and I'm also going to create a separate division just for that side, so that there's the lead gen side, or the the call side, and then there's the payment side.
Look
And
into a company called Podium Payments. Podium. Podium Payments, because they're a mobile payment processing company for local businesses. I'm not sure what the details are on that, but maybe it's something that'll work for you, maybe not, but something that I had bookmarked for further research.
Podium.
No, podium as in you're standing at a podium. Podium.
Okay, got it. All right,
Podium.
I'll look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, Podium Payments. Give that a look and see what you think. But again, I
All
haven't
right.
done research on that yet for that. But and there are some, especially for your vertical, there are some industry specific types of services like that that you can offer. Uh, at some point, when you get to a regional and national level, you're gonna, which will happen organically, of course. Um, you're gonna run into some services that I'm waiting on you to mention that you haven't run into yet. I don't want to give away the secrets or anything, but and it's not really a secret, but it's a really solid source that you can take advantage of. But and it's international too. It's not just in the states; it's international. But I'll let you stumble upon that and do it organically. It's the best way to do that. It's going to be a lot of fun
Okay.
when you figure that out. But uh, for now, just do what you're doing. Raise your raise your expectations on that finish line, man. That 30 clients, man. That's what I want to see. Go for 30. Go for 30. And I do recognize that there's limitations on time and everything, but an ideal closing conversation is 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Anything longer than that, you're wasting time. All right. Which means out of every few calls that you get, if you're closing everybody that's qualified, you can close more than 5 in a day easily. And based on the preparation that you've put into this and the commitment level that you're at, I don't see that being a problem for you. I really don't. I really don't. So I'm anxious. I'm excited to see what you produce this week, and I'm here for you as you need it with any help. And yeah, let's take it from there.
Okay. All right. Me too. I'm excited too. Well, thank you so much for getting me to this point where it's just an SSL certificate to propagate, and maybe they can push it through, and then I can hit the phones tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan.
And in the meantime, I might create a site for this e-card processing, so that can be live too.
Yeah,
I can
if you've
charge
got
them.
the time, yeah.
Well,
Try not to burn yourself out though. You want to stay rested for more than anything. The focus should be on sharpening the axe, sales script, being well rested for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You want to just go on an all out blitz, and then deal with everything else when the dust settles. Ideally, that doesn't mean don't work on the e-card thing. It just means um, limit your time on that. Don't spend all day and all night on that when you could be getting good rest and disconnecting, spending time with loved ones, that kind of thing. That's important, and it's going to help you mentally for sure when you're in the middle of this blitz, because you're going to be like, you're going to get lost in it, and not in a bad way. Just you're going to get in the middle of it, deep, up to your neck, up to your eyeballs, and you're going to need that power walk, for example, and you're going to take it, or you're going to need that 20 minutes with a loved one, and just eating dinner, and then going right back to work, and they know what you're doing, and they know what you've achieved at that point. That whole thing, right? There's going to be times where you're going to need that, and now fueling up on that as much as possible, loading up on that before you get started tomorrow is going to be not key, but definitely a good solid key to how long you're able to go before needing another fill up, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
thanks again, and you have a
always,
great good night. Have a good night.
you do the same. Get some
All right.
rest.
All right.
All right.
I
I'll talk
probably
to you
won't
soon.
be talk. Yeah, but not tomorrow at 2 because I'm going to
That's
be
fine.
closing that person. I'm going
Yep.
to be closing. All right.
Well, if you close that person and you come on the call and tell me you close that person, then I'll talk to you.
I'm not
But yeah,
stopping until 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
that's the
Uh,
right answer. That's the right answer. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. But hey, man, do what you got to do, and make sure all your results are in before midnight Pacific Standard Time, which is
okay.
like what your East Coast, so 3 a.m. your time on the first actually would
On the first.
yeah, which is how
That's
that works
that's
out.
the
But
Friday. That's Friday. Friday the first at 3 a.m. Okay.
Friday the first at 3 a.m. That's the
Okay.
latest for submissions, including Facebook posts for verification, verified client, and also any call recordings in support. They're both time
No
date
problem.
stamped. Don't worry about it. If you got it in, good, right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Thanks again.
You're welcome, and I'll talk to you soon at some point here.
Yes. Yes.
All
Stay
right.
well.
You too.
Bye bye.
Okay. Comments, and then we'll bounce out of here because we've been going for a while, but I don't want to uh, miss anybody here. Um, Adrian says, I set up my phone in such a way that if I lost my phone or it was stolen, I could wipe it immediately, plus still keep the data backup to my Google Drive and other storage accounts. I would not lose anything. Even if Wi-Fi is turned off, security is a big thing, and I always think long term. What if this happened? What would I do? That's my mindset. 100%. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Adrian. Um, and it's not that Julian doesn't think that way. It's just that I'm giving everybody a kind of a friendly reminder of like, nobody's perfect, and you want to prepare for every eventuality that you can think of, and then as some come up, prepare for those as well for the future, so that way you're less and less over the years of your life caught off guard. Right? There's a reason why people that are older uh, tend to not react or overreact or even react at all in a lot of cases, because they've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, you know. They they've seen it all, even though they technically haven't seen it all. They've seen most of it, and that's that's because in a lot of cases they were also prepared, right, or unattached or detached from the result or outcome because they could be. Whereas we're very much in the game still. We're very much in business. We're not retired or semi-retired, most of us, um, and or you're jumping back into the game if that's your scenario. But you've got to make sure that you've got things on hand that run your day to day. For example, my protection is obviously something that I care about for myself, for my family, but I also care about the business, and so I've got my phone within. My phone is just as close to me as my protection is. Okay, like my wallet and being able to spend the money and being able to sign the deals are just as close to me, and almost every when I get up and I'm done with the desk for the day, which I probably will be after this for a little, at least for a couple hours, um, everything goes with me. Everything goes in the pockets. I carry usually if I'm in the house, I just carry the weapon down stairs, but I'll just carry it with me, right? I'll just carry it wherever I go, um, and it sits next to me like my best friend, and so does my phone. So that way, when my phone goes verp verp, does that verp verp thing, the vibrate thing, I know that something's going on. Not every time, but I'm going to check it a couple times an hour maybe, or once an hour, and keep on top of things. Whereas that that pea shooter there is ready to go, moment's notice. I've always got what I need on hand. What I absolutely need, I should rephrase that. There's tons of stuff extension wise that I have access to as well, but that's usually at the desk and stuff like that. The whole point is I've got everything that I need, more or less when I need it. Those are the things that I need the most in my life, 24/7. I always have access to protection. I always have access to my business. I always have access to be able to spend money for fun or for business. I have the ability to sign business the second I put on my shirt in the morning in the bedroom. I've got the pen goes right in, right? I've got the ability to sign business right there in the bedroom. Like I don't leave the bedroom without the protection, without the ability to do business, new business, spend money, um, access any kind of business documentation. You get the whole point. So you get what I'm saying there. Um, that's how I run things, and not that you have to run them that way, but that should give you guys some perspective on the choices that you decide to make and habits you develop for yourself to govern your life. Because ultimately, as a business owner, you have much more control over not only your business but also your personal life by default, which means there's going to be some things that come up for you, especially in times of great uncertainty, where it's more of a focus point for protection, right? Personal protection, self-defense, and also things like business, where you're going to be more mindful about your phone and the fact that it stays in your hand at all times or in your pocket that's closely monitored, and you're able to feel if somebody tries to palm it, snag it. And also have backups in place for wiping data, like Adrian talks about, all that kind of stuff. All those things are super important, um, because those things can and do happen. And if anything, they've happened in record numbers, right? Record numbers this year. Packages stolen. Last time I saw a figure was a few months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago. And they said, and this is prior to obviously the biggest season we've probably had for package delivery. Okay. But 5.4, I think, billion dollars worth of packages stolen from people's houses and front stoops. Seriously, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. And if people are that brazen to steal packages, guess what? They're not afraid to kick in that door. And most home robberies are actually home invasions when people are home because they know they're vulnerable, or they're doing that transitioning space thing, and they catch them going from somewhere to somewhere, from the car to the front door, or from the elevator to the apartment door, that whole thing. And you just got to be prepared, right? Be prepared for that kind of stuff. But also on the business side, people are going to ask you for your EIN. Got to be able to pop it off, either rattle it off, and sometimes that's not even good enough. They want to see it on paper. Well, shit, you got a printer? Yeah, cool. Cool, here it is. Pow. Oh, you don't? Okay, I'll be back. I got to go down the street to the UPS store. Whereas most people would be like, oh, I'll have to come back tomorrow, right? Or it's going to take me a few hours to get back here. No, not you. Where's the nearest UPS store? Where's the nearest FedEx Kinko's? Where's the nearest print store of any kind that has the ability to receive an email and print from that email address? Because you're able to produce it in PDF form like that for anything and everything. And that's a pretty cool feeling of empowerment to have that in your personal life and in your business life, to know that you're pretty much protected everywhere you go. As long as you have good situational awareness, you're pretty much set on the business side everywhere you go, as long as you have an internet signal. And if you don't, you can find one at like a Starbucks. I mean, worst, push comes to shove, worst case, you can get business done wherever you need to. You got the pen handy, you don't have to worry about that. You can spend money at any time because you got the wallet or the purse, right? That whole thing. So anyway, that said, I want to bounce out of here. I don't want to take up everybody's time. It's been a good day. Lots of good stuff on all 3 calls that we did today. Happy to help as always. Appreciate each and every one of you. Work hard. This is the week. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is the week. Let's get it done. It's gonna be an exciting week. I can't wait to see what you guys and gals come up with. Some of you are anticipating being on the board and haven't shown up yet, but are going to show up in a big way. I can't wait to see that. I know Julian's probably going to be one of those people, and there's others out there lurking in the shadows. And I haven't seen you yet, but I will, and I can't wait to meet you for the first time as a business owner or an agency owner in the pay-per-call space. And I'm happy to be a part of your journey and help you with that. That said, we've got the 11 a.m. stream tomorrow for those that need it, the 29th of December, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. and that'll be here in the main group for the daily December Dash live stream. All right. For that, with that, I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right. Bye for now, guys.
Cool. You fall. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch what they handle. Simple motors, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug, Bay Shore, Ocean View, or win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really no excuse. Welcome to the realm.